one of the YouTube, everything else of whatever else out there, is Eric the Cyborg, returning to play the card game of the Yu-Gi-Oh! With a brand new deck profile for Rescue Ace. Firefighters, ahoy! Why Rescue Ace, you may ask? Because the decks have machines. I'm sure there's more reasons why, but that's the only thing I can think of at the moment. So yeah, I've been gone for a good bit. Got kind of bored of the game after the YCS because of how tier element and everything was going on with that. So yeah, took a break. Decided to start coming back now with the release of Duelist Nexus, and then with everything else coming up too, I'm going to be getting back into building more decks with the new stuff coming out and everything else like that. So anyway, enough of me being reminiscent. Let's go into the list, or for my version of Rescue Ace. So obviously I'm going to go over the actual Rescue Ace monsters first. 3 Hydrant, no less than the 3, because he's your main boy. You want to have someone out on board, or just see in hand in general. For those who don't know what it does, while you have another Rescue Ace monster on your field, Hydrant cannot be targeted for attacks. So he basically has his own battle protection for himself. On summon, he searches for any Rescue Ace monster from your deck to your hand, and also while he's on your field, once per turn, you can activate a quick play spell or trap card. Quick play spell or trap card the same turn that you set it. I'm hearing different things that you can only activate one of them or multiples of them of the ones that you set off of Turbulence. But from what I think, you can only activate one of them, while the rest still have to wait until the next turn. I could be wrong. I haven't. I've been gone for a good bit, so. If anyone knows, if anyone knows the proper ruling of it, let me know in the comments below, and I'll go based off what you say. Other main deck monsters, obviously 3 of Impulse. The warrior monsters of Rescue Ace all have a effect that trigger in the hand when your opponent activates a monster effect during the main phase. His effect is that you can attribute him from your hand or your field to summon a Rescue Ace monster from your deck. So he helps to basically get out either Hydrant or Fire Attacker, Intruder, Fire Engine out during your opponent's turn. His effect on field during the main phase, you choose one effect monster your opponent controls with the highest attack. If there's multiple monsters that have the same high attack, you choose which one you want to hit. And neither player can activate the monster's effects on the field this turn. So it's kind of like an impermanence in a way, except it's not a quick effect. It's only and it's only during your main phase. So that's kind of a big bummer, but that is how it is. No less than 3 of him. I mean, you could get away with probably 2 Impulse. I've seen some builds only play 1 Impulse. I feel like playing one of it is kind of wrong. I mean, you could get away with probably running only 2, depending on what else you're running in your deck. But I feel like 3 is definitely amount you want to have. Now, for something you definitely want to have 3 of is 3 of Airlifter. On summon, he searches for any Rescue Ace spell card. And given with the new card that Rescue Ace got in Duel's Nexus, you obviously want to see him as soon as possible, which I'll explain why once we get to the spells. And his effect, his hand and also field effect, is that you basically tribute him to summon any Rescue Ace monster from your hand. So again, you want to get something out of your hand, whether it be Preventer, Fire Engine, Fire Attacker, another Turbulence, another Fire Engine. You just tribute him from your hand or field and get your other body out. So yeah, no less than 3 Airlifter. On to the non-3-ofs of the Rescue Ace deck. 1 Fire Engine and 1 Fire Attacker. Fire Engine is your free summon if you summon a Rescue Ace monster, except for damage steps and except for himself, you can summon him from your hand. So he's basically just a free summon extender. And if a monster is summoned to your opponent's field except during a damage step, you can summon 1 level 4 level Rescue Ace monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So again, more ways to help recur back your bodies, swarm the board, all that good stuff. Fire Attacker, however, you mainly only want to summon him as soon as your opponent is going to either do additional draws or a search, because his effect is also he has the same first effect as the Fire Engine to summon himself when you summon any Rescue Ace monster. However, for him, if a card is added to your opponent's hand, except by drawing it, so obviously when your opponent searches, disregard to me saying prior or additional draws. So mainly when your opponent tries to go for a search, you summon him out, search resolves. As soon as that happens, a Fire Attacker lets you draw 2 cards and then you discard 1 card. So he's a nice little additional draw power during your opponent's turn to get your hand traps faster, and discard to help set up your graveyard for literally anything else. So 1 of each. For the main boss monster of the deck, obviously 2 of Turbulence. This is your main boy. You summon him from your hand by banishing 2 Rescue Ace cards from your graveyard. And during the main phase, unfortunately, is only during your main phase. You can set up to 4 Rescue Ace spell or trap cards from your field, from your deck to your field. This effect got a whole lot better with the new spell card they got in Duel's Nexus, because it gives you a additional E-Telly from the deck. Also, he helps sets up your trap cards, which are negation, removal, or your spells to help do more searches, or to recur stuff from the graveyard. Well, yada yada yada. Also, a big 3k booty. For the other boss monster, I'd say for this deck is the brand new card from Duel's Nexus, 2 Rescue Ace Preventer. He summons himself by banishing 1 Rescue Ace card from your graveyard. So obviously there's a cost to summoning him out, but if you control another Rescue Ace monster, he has a quick effect to where you can target a effect monster that your opponent controls, and basically you just Book of Moon it, put it face down. It's great interruption. against your opponent, depending what they're playing against. If you're facing against Purely, you can Book and Moon any of their Purelies before they can rank up. Just make sure that they don't have their field spell, which prevents targeting on their monsters. And his effect, when he leaves the field, you can target one of your, or if he's sent to the graveyard, yeah, you target one of your banished rescue ace monsters, except for a level 8. So himself and Turbulence are the only things that you cannot get back with them, and you summoned that monster that was banished. So yeah, 2 Preventer I think is perfectly fine. Some builds play 3. I think 3 is way too much, but again, that's my opinion. 2 is absolutely fine. He's searchable. You can summon him from the deck. Yada yada yada. As if for the actual monster lineup, now for the hand traps of the format, obviously triple Ash for generic purposes, and triple Droll because everything in this format is basically relies on searching. So having Droll and Lockbird right now, this format is the absolute best. You could run additional hand traps in your side deck, or if you have room, main deck, probably Ghost Mourner or Ghost Bell would be great substitutes. But for right now, I just have the room for a set of Ash and a set of Droll. Basically, just generic enough to where I can probably sustain myself. That's it for the monsters. Onto the spells. We'll go over the Rescue Ace spells first. Obviously, the brand new one they got from Duelist Nexus, and the most powerful one is Triple Emergency. All of the Rescue Ace spell cards don't have Rescue Ace in their name, but they have a condition to where they're always treated as a Rescue Ace card, so that they're still searchable, but by literally your whole deck. So, Emergency, what does it do? Emergency is your E-Tally of the deck, except it has a cost for it. Yeah, you would have to tribute. Well, first you summon any Rescue Ace monster from your deck, and then you are forced to tribute a Rescue Ace monster from your field or hand. So it's basically just a trade-off, which is perfectly fine because you can use this to like tag out any of your Rescue Ace monsters that's being targeted by I don't know, Infect Veiler and Permanence, any targeting effects that'll destroy it or again negate its effects. You can chain this to it, tag it out, and still have your effect go off or have your monsters still be alive. And its graveyard effect is that you banish it from your graveyard to target one Rescue Ace trap card in your graveyard, and then you set it face down to your side of the field. Mainly, obviously, help to recur your only interruptions that you run in the deck, which are not very many of them, unfortunately. But by that point, you should be hopefully having enough control to where the game doesn't last that long. But again, who knows? For the other spells, 1 Alert, 1 Rescue, and 1 HQ. Again, except for these ones, except for these two, or except for this one, these are still treated as Rescue Ace cards, even though they don't have Rescue Ace in their name. Alert allows you to add a Rescue Ace monster from your graveyard to your hand, but if you control Fire Hydrant, which is another reason why you want to have Fire Hydrant on your board as much as possible, you can change you can add a Rescue Ace monster from your deck instead. So basically, kind of like how Sky Strikers work, to where if you have a certain condition you meet, you get a different effect. And then for rescue, you target a rescue-based monster in your graveyard, and you can summon it. No. Yeah. Target one rescue-based monster in your graveyard, or if you control Fire Hydrant or Hydrant, you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard instead and summon it. So again, it's a monster born for you, for your graveyard, or if you have Hydrant on your board, you can steal one of your opponent's monsters from the graveyard. Basically kind of like Shark Cannon for Sky Strikers. And then Rescue Ace HQ, your main field spell. It gives your standard attack buff while it's on the field to your Rescue Ace monsters. Well, your opponent has to also control a monster for that boost to even be a thing. Its other effect is that you get a additional normal summon for any Rescue Ace monster, so it's double summon. Why the hell not? Its other effect is that its last effect is that you could target 4 of your banished Rescue Ace cards, shuffle them back to the deck, and draw 1 card. So this helps to recur back basically everything you're banishing, so that you can keep constantly having stuff to trigger off. I'm contemplating on running a second copy of HQ, honestly, because if this card dies, you're basically screwed. Well, you're not fully screwed, but you don't have your ability to restock your cards back into your deck. So I'll see if I can find room for a second HQ. If not, I'll deal with the one. So that's it for the Rescue Ace spells. Onto the generic basic spell cards. For consistency purposes, Triple Prosperity. Everyone knows what this does at this point. Don't really need to explain what it do. For the one-ofs, 1/1-for-1, 1 Duster, and 1 Rhoda. Rhoda because you're running Warriors for Airlifter and Impulse. So searchability for them. Feather Duster, clear back row in case you go second. 1/1. I see a lot of lists not playing this card. I have no idea why. This card is hands down probably one of your best ways to get one of your best ways to get Hydrant out as soon as possible. And plus it's a nice bait for Ash. Same thing with the Rhoda, but again, everyone's build is different. This is how I want to do it. The last spell cards are the books, 2 Eclipse and 2 Book of Moons. You could do the 3 of each. I think 2 is fine for now. I might have the 3rd copy of each of them in the side deck later on, but for right now I'm doing this to test it out and see how it goes. Honestly, this format is basically just if you have the book, you basically break any board right now in this format. The book goes back. So that's it for the spells. Onto the trap cards. 1 Extinguish, 1 Contain. Again, they don't have Rescue Ace in their name, but they're still treated as Rescue Ace cards. Extinguish is if you control a Rescue Ace monster, target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, destroy it. If you currently control Hydrant, which you should hopefully have, your opponent cannot activate the effects of the destroyed monster or of monsters with the same original name this turn. So let's say you wanted to destroy a key card that your opponent summons and you know that your opponent uses multiples of it, you distinguish, pop that card, pop that monster mainly. Yeah, pop the monster, and you basically get rid of a body on the board, and your opponent can use that monster's effects or any monster of that same name for the rest of the turn. And then contain, again, same thing. If you have a Rich Waste monster on your field, target one effect monster your opponent controls. That monster cannot attack and negate its effects. So impermanence and threatening war, I guess, to that monster. But if you have Fire Hydrant out, that monster cannot be used as material for a fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link summon. You can still use it for ritual summon though. Not that there's really any ritual decks going around right now, but again, you could use it for ritual summons. Unless they're saying it can be distributed. No, just fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link. So basically, it's a pseudo D barrier for that certain for. No, it's no material as a trap card. Haha. Thumbs up if you know what no material is. And then right off the main deck, obviously triple impermanence. Why not? Impermanence is permanence. It's a good hand trap. Hand trap for days. So that is the main deck. Onto the extra. For your Link 1s, one Link Rebo, one Almirage, one Anima. Obviously these are for your hydrants for going first, going second. Almirage, if you normal summon any of your, if you normal summon hydrant, or yeah, just hydrant. Also, it's a nice means of protection as well for the Almirage. So yeah, these are all for hydrant. Link 2s, one Proxy F, one Sunlight Wolf, one IP. IP standard right now. Sunlight Wolf, your whole deck are fire monsters. He helps recur back your fire monsters from your deck to your hand. Why the hell not? And Proxy F Magician, he's mainly in here so that you can summon out your Mud Dragon, so you have more targeting protection for your fire engine. Yeah, the big guy. For your main boss monster, so that he can have his strike resolve and you don't cry every time it gets impermanence or Veilered. Link 3s. One Trisbana, one Diamond Unicorn. You're probably wondering why I'm choosing to run Trisbana when Trisbana also banishes my spell and trap cards. Because it's good against the matchup for either Labyrinth, Altergeist, Trap Tricks, anything that's like very back row dependent. I mean, even against like, I don't know, sometimes Noble Knights, when they have like all those equipped stuff on their back row, you can just banish all of them. And he also deals nice burn damage for, in case you go game 3, want to deal some burn damage for time. There you go. And also with the field spell, you can just recur those cards back to your deck. So you're basically not losing anything at that point still. And then I'm Unicorn. This card, target bounce. Nice things. My Link 4, Access Code Talker. You can build up to it. It's just a lot of work to build up into it for like 2 pops, potentially 3 if you also manage to have Underworld Goddess in your graveyard. But by then you should already have game. So yeah, Access Code Talker and Underworld Goddess. Jump Scare. Like, she basically gets rid of things that are hard to deal with because her with the IP Masquerena makes it a whole lot easier. Now for something I'm doing that no one else is really doing for Rescue Ace, because a lot of builds are either just running a bunch of Link monsters or they're playing the dumb stupid firewall package, which I think is absolutely stupid in my opinion. I chose to run super poly targets because why the hell not? And plus the format is basically generic enough to where you can easily do so. So let's get on with it. Fusions, Mud Dragon, again proxy, your main target for proxy F magician, also super poly. Bring it out, you're good. Garura, super poly target, generic as hell. Leaves the field, you draw a card. Bingo. For the specific ones, I chose to run Mr. Guilty Gearfried. You're probably wondering, why the hell am I playing this shit? Noble Knights are a thing. And you're probably also thinking, well, don't they only have fire? Well, aren't all the Infernobles fire? I'm like, yeah, they are. But they also have Isolde, Barone, and and their friggin' Xyz monster is also a light. And their Synchro Noble Knight is a dark. So you have a way to get rid of bodies to where you can summon this, and this guy is also a pretty nice targeting protector. Because if he's targeted, I think if he's just targeted by any effect, you can just negate it and destroy that card. Also, he's a 27 beater. Why the hell not? Starring Venom, you could change this out for Dragostapelia, depending if you're facing. I think Dragostapelia is a lot better because this could be just easily using against the Branded Chimera, maybe. Yeah, I think I might change this out for a Dragostapelia because it might be just a whole lot better than just having Starring Venom, because not everything are just pure darks. My last reply target is one Dragon Knight Equest. You're probably also wondering, why the hell am I playing this shit? Again, this is mainly for anything that runs the Crimson Dragon package. Because you basically fuse off Crimson Dragon, and if they have a warrior on the board, so it's a Baron or whatever other warrior, hell, you could even just use your own warrior monsters for it too, because you have warriors in your deck as well, and you're facing against fighting against Dragon Link. There you go. There's your super poly target for that. Facing against Crimson Dragon Turbo. There you go. There's your super poly target for that. Again, generic as hell. That's my argument for this. So that's the extra deck. On to my side deck. Side deck is, again, everything's being changed up here and there, but it is, for right now, triple Nib. Can't go wrong with Nibiru in this format either, because everything overextends at this point in this format. So Nibiru has a nice failsafe. Obviously putting super poly targets, so you have to run that super poly. Hopefully they don't limit this card again, because it'll be sad if they do. So after the super polys, obviously triple Dark Ruler no more for going second. Again, you're facing against a board of Omni Negates. You basically sign this down. Your opponent can't do anything much about it unless they have back row to basically say no to it. Hopefully, after you activate it, you can clear out their board so that you don't have to deal with what they have. But again, it all depends on how you want to do things with that. Evenly matched. Again, going second, going against anything that basically sets up a whole board of everything. Back row, monsters, whatever. Go main, go standby, main, end of main, battle phase, end of battle phase, slam down evenly match, they cry. Probably, hopefully. Or hopefully they'll scoop. maybe. One can dream. Last one is triple of the Gozen matching. You can obviously, if you can find room this in the main deck, maybe you can easily do that. But again, I'm choosing it to have in the side deck for an option for if I do go first and my opponent is playing, I don't know, purely Manadium, pretty much anything that doesn't rely on one attribute. Set this in for going first, set it up. If you can get it off, you basically hopefully win. Anyway, that is my current build for Rescue Ace. Again, this is the first build of it. It's going to be updating a lot for after Age Overlord comes out with the Sinful Spoils stuff, seeing on how that's been doing in the OCG. So it's going to be crazy for when that happens, and then whatever else happens from their point on. Anyway, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, click the bell for notifications on our future content, whether it be Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, discussions, or whatever the hell we do here again. Again, do all that stuff I said prior, and we'll hope to see y'all next time.